And then please use the microphone too.
We talked about this at the last meeting.
Please grab a hold of the microphone.
Oh, sorry, my name's Anna. That's Lynn from 335 Fawcett Church Road. And Patty Morgan.
337 Fawcett Church Road.
We talked about all the junk and right away going through the residential lot next to Mr. and Mrs. Morgan's house, and how the property behind us is slowly creeping up behind our properties. So we put together a packet here, with the initial letter. When we bought our house, the people who owned our house before gave us this letter, which would be the second page, just letting us know that, if any changes were made to that property behind us that Mr. Vianney owns, that we could let them know, which it has, because it's not supposed to be used for industrial. But, so we have a map showing.
Basically, what we're asking is just for some help. The lot beside me is residential, and he's put a driveway through there that allows commercial trucks and, big trucks, big machinery. The other problem is that he's zoned back there as R1 with a non-conforming use, which I was told when I bought my property that meant one business, which would be his, and that he was limited as to how much bigger he could get. By putting this road across the residential lot, it's allowing bigger machinery, and if you look on the back, we put pictures there. I'm talking really big. We've had 18-wheeler tractor trailer trucks coming in there on a one-lane right-of-way. And
If you look at page 67, the property back there is zoned industrial, even though what we found out is an industrial, I guess. And it's saying it's a small shop, and if you see the pictures on the following page that he's using as a picture of his property back there, that's 4 or 5 houses up. It's not even his property.
so the problem we're having is that my home and the lot where he put this road on is Cecil Township. His business is South Fayette Township. And we have gone to South Fayette Township at least 5 or 6 meetings. We've gone down there and spoke with them in person. We've had private meetings with them, and they just refuse to do anything about it. But the problem is he's renting to 2 other companies besides his own. So now not just his trucks and things coming in and out, but we have their trucks and machinery and even...
They're now coming in. He has a new rental, we have a business card in there for them.
Please use the microphone.
There's a business card attached in here for the newest renters that he has back there. And now they're coming in and out with their own personal trucks on the weekends. They're unloading dirt bikes. They're driving up and down our roads, going through our woods. They're on top of coming in here, running businesses out of there. So they're flying in with big 4x4s and they're unloading a bunch of dirt bikes and they're, so we don't know. There's all kind of strangers coming in and out of there that we don't feel that should be there. We also listed a bunch of, which I sent by email as well, but, things out of the South Fayette zoning code book that we had, and there's many issues in there that we just feel that they're ignoring.
How many tenants are there?
He has a personal renter, which is a relative, and he also has, as far as we know, 2 other businesses back there.
have machines and machinery.
Right. So not only is he coming in and out with the big tractor trailers and flatbeds and heavy equipment, they are as well.
These are 18-wheelers?
No, I said we've had 18-wheelers
Yeah.
in there. They're not there right now, but the other company that's running for him, he also has one of those big long flathead things that, they have big machines on. There's one picture in there we put in. One day there were 3 of them came in. They were the big, huge cabs with the, long thing with a big machine on it. 3 of them came in following each other. It's just all day long, every day.
This occurs every day?
Pretty much every day, yes. So what we're asking is, first of all, he has the right to use the right-of-way. But when he added that other section, it allowed him to get the bigger stuff in. He couldn't get it in before with just the original right-of-way that he was given when he bought the place.
And according to what we were told by Mr. Cecil, that he never got a permit to add that additional little
And plus-
right through the residential lot to get back there with all the shooting trucks.
And it is a residential neighborhood, and that lot is zoned for residential use, not to be bringing heavy trucks across it. And so what we're asking you, as Cecil Township, is, I don't think that he should be allowed to have that there, for one thing. But the other thing we're asking is that you help us with South Fayette, because they just won't do anything for us because we live in Cecil.
Right, you can see by these pictures.
Mr. Chairman, I've been out to the property there, and I counted, I think, about 16 pieces of equipment out there, that area.
And this is all right on our property line, you go through. I mean, there's nothing, I mean, it looks like garbage. I mean, we keep our properties very nice, and if you just look through the pages, it's right on our property line.
He piles as much stuff as he can right up against our property line.
And he's continually digging out behind where
Putting more and more.
should have stopped. He's continually digging out behind our property and behind our neighbors who couldn't be here tonight because she just had knee replacement surgery. But he's slowly going up behind both of our properties as well, which in the first letter says he's not allowed to do. And that's from South Fayette Township.
I mean, we don't have any hold with South Fayette. But we're asking you, as being that we're in your township, to try to help us out here with getting them to enforce their zoning laws with him. I mean, I think it should just be.
That also, and if he didn't get a permit to put that road in, is there a way to have that little right-of-way closed up so he can't use that, so he can't get those vehicles in and out of it?
I think what we're faced with, though, your request to have the board look into it, last month we authorized our solicitor to just basically look into it on a preliminary basis, and I think she had sent us a copy of her findings that indicated there could be a violation of even our zoning ordinance. And I think our question is, once Gretchen talks to us, our question is, if we have an ordinance on the books, we owe enforcement. We either got to enforce it or take it off the books. And I think the concern is it could get expensive. It could end up going to court. But again, to me, if you have an ordinance, you got to enforce it. You can't base whether you're going to enforce it on whether it's going to be expensive or the property owner is going to fight you or not.
Yeah, I mean, people are coming to look at our homes.
We've been fighting that house in use for how many, 20 years now, and it's just, we've been spending a lot of money, and it's just, that's what it takes.
Tom, can we have a detail of the ordinance or the description and what it entails as far as him driving these heavy vehicles or equipment through there?
Well, Gretchen, just basically, we didn't authorize her to do a lot of it. We just said to look into a preliminary look to see if she thinks that it's something we should get involved with. So I think you sent us an email. Could you explain it a little bit?
Do you want to have an executive session to talk about pending legal matters?
Or if it's just a citation for a zoning ordinance, that's not necessarily a pending legal matter yet. I mean, if the neighbor said that guy's burning garbage, and we ask, how do you think we should address it? It's not necessarily executive material.
There's a little bit of difference here. I mean, our property values are going down.
We're just asking generally, is it something that, based on what you saw, that we need to address? Not asking you to address how we address it, just are we entitled to, or are we required to, or should we?
You have options as it relates to the property in Cecil. There are also options as it relates to the property in South Fayette, which I don't think Cecil has much to say about, what's going on the property in South Fayette, whether or not they're violating the South Fayette zoning ordinance in South Fayette. It's within their purview to enforce their zoning ordinance or not. But as it relates to Cecil, you could look into options related to the road, how the road was created, how it's being used, how long it's being used like that. There is more research that could be done to look into whether there are any vested rights here related to any of the property owners, and what could be done about it. Certainly letters could be sent to start more inquiry into the road part of this. which is separate and distinct again from the South Fayette property and zoning issues going on there.
May I ask a question? Do you guys, just as an aside, do you guys, if somebody comes to you like us, you've been nice enough to listen to us twice now, and a couple other times actually, but when we approached South Fayette, they said that we had to pay them $500 to even raise this issue, like we're
Well,
talking
let's not
to.
go there, we're just trying to find out if the board has an interest in, an intent to address a potential zoning issue on the roadway, on the residential lot.
One question on bylaws. We have South Fayette.
What's your name for the record, please?
Dennis Morgan, 337 Fawcett Church Road. The bylaws for South Fayette and the bylaws for Cecil. In them bylaws, it says that whichever one is stronger or whichever one is more stricter is what has to be, done, upheld. Can you answer me whether Cecil or South Fayette in this situation is, which one is the better one or is there a stronger one?
What you have to understand is Ms. Moore said, there's two distinct issues. If there's zoning violations with landscaping and trash and close to the property line and expanding a non-conforming use or things they're doing, we have no say in that, other than if we have it's just some cordial influence with them to try to get them to be neighborly to our neighbors. But she said our issue that we can address is if there's a zoning violation by creating a commercial road on a residential lot in our township. We have to stay out of that one, other than maybe, like you said, cordially approaching South Fayette to get a little relief.
Even though you have one stronger than the other.
It's two separate issues. We can't order them to take trash off their property. Now, if you have trash on your property against their fence line, we could order you to take it off, but we can't.
You have done that.
All right, so you understand that, at least let us look at that issue. That may make, if you're right on what you're saying about that access road that might not be permitted, that may make that other issue go away, that if they can't operate like an industrial park down there, it may go away because they don't have access. And they may build their own road.
No, they were told us last.
It might take a minute if you can't come back in and out of it.
All right, we're facing one issue now that is, our solicitor said that if we want to look into, well, the first thing we'd have our code enforcement officer look at and write something up, or is it something that you should look into further for us before we even send it on?
I would suggest probably sending a letter with our understanding of the facts to the property owner, and we could go from there.
See what response we get.
And I just want to say one more thing. If you can look right, you can look at the pages right past all the signatures of all of our neighbors, so it's coming up with this. This is a South Fayette issue, but I just wanted to prove a point that they ignore everything. According to the tax records, the lot that's coming in off of Mayview that they use down there is called this vacant industrial land. But if you look at the picture on the next page, it's hideous down there, and it's the back side coming down over our house. I know it's an aside and it doesn't have anything to do with Cecil Township, but it just goes to show that South Fayette will do nothing about anything they do back there.
So can I ask one question? What are we supposed to do? I mean, we have nobody to help us. I mean, South Fayette just blows us off. We got to pay tax to them. So what recourse do we have to try to protect our
All right,
property?
you came here, I'm trying to get a response from the board members. I think Frankie spoke. The board members, we got to weigh in with Gretchen to give her, her suggestion was a letter to the property owner. They may blow it off, they may respond, but she thinks that's the best first step. Does anybody have an issue with that? Do you have a better idea how to approach it?